Hi, it's Dorothy Tannahill-Moran, certified sound therapist. Take a moment and think about a situation that created fear, tremendous amount of fear, or a situation that would cause fear. Maybe it's a place in your city that you would not want to go to. Maybe it's a particular person that makes you feel uncomfortable, or a situation such as fear of failing, getting up in front of people and talking. So think about that for just a second. Now that you've thought about that, I'd like for you to reflect on how does that feel in your body. Fear does have a very physical and emotional response. In other words, once you start truly engaging in the fear emotion, you're going to have a physical reaction. It can change the way your heart's reacting. It can start sending adrenaline and other chemicals through your body. Your body becomes engaged in fear. Now, I'm sorry to have to break that up, but I want to do that to make a point. And the point I'm making is that those chemicals that's produced during fear, while your body does have some natural means of dissipating that fear, they do not dissipate all of those fear chemicals that's created. You end up storing some of the fear chemicals at the same time, and those chemicals are stored in your neural pathways for easy retrieval. That's kind of the interesting thing about our body, is that we do store those, much like we store fat, for easy retrieval and use for future purposes. With enough stored emotions, it ends up becoming a cascade issue. And when I say a cascading issue, it means if you end up storing enough fear emotions in your neural pathways in your body, it can become habituated, and ultimately it can become chronic, which can lead to disease. Now, what does any of this have to do with sound healing? Well, what it has to do with is you need to be able to disrupt fear. And sound healing with planetary frequencies is a perfect way of being able to disrupt fear and restore trust in your body. Now, when you're using planetary frequencies to disrupt fear, a number of people have different kinds of reactions when that process is taking place. It's a form of releasing emotions. When it takes place, some people become an observer of that process. They can see and almost notice that there's that emotion stuck in their body, but they are not a participant. You do not have to relive the event in order to release the fear that was stuck in your body or relive the event that created that fear. Now, sometimes when fear is released, you do feel a sense of emotion. Maybe you don't feel the fear itself, but you do feel a sense of emotion. Everybody's experience in releasing fear is very different, but you can release the fear chemical that's stuck in your body and restore trust as a result. Now, if you're kind of skeptical about this notion, let me give you a very specific example, and it has to do with stress. Stress is something that we all know about in our culture. We're very accustomed to it. I store my stress in my neck and my shoulders. Other people store their stress and it becomes a headache. In other words, we know about stress, and stress also is an emotion. We also know that we need stress reduction, we need stress relief. That's no different than fear. It's just we don't talk about the fact that, oh, gee, I had this frightening event and I've stored fear in my body. But you do, in fact, store fear along with a number of other emotions that have taken place in your life. but you do need to disrupt fear so you can restore trust. Planetary frequencies is a great way to disrupt fear and remove it from your body, much like a toxin. Now, there's also an interesting aspect, and that is there's an inverse relationship between fear and trust. It sounds like this. If you were at home reading a book or watching TV, and somebody started breaking into your house, your first reaction would be one of fear. You'd be frightened about what's taking place. And the reason why that would be is because up till that particular moment, you had trust in your safety. But somebody did something to destroy or damage that trust in your safety. And they did it because they were breaking into your house. So there you go. That's my example. So you can see how there is an inverse relationship between fear and trust. So if you have fear in your body, you also, of course, have it in your memory, but you start operating from a place of fear rather than operating from a place of trust. And you start making decisions. You start filtering life through fear. And that's certainly not what you want. You also start attracting things through that point of fear. And again, that's not what you want to attract. So what you need to do is constantly, this is like a ritual of cleansing. You need to be disrupting fear from your body and operating from a place of trust so you can attract more trust and higher vibrational situations and people into your life, because now you're operating from a greater place of trust and not from a place of fear. I wanted to share that with you. Now, you may be sitting there wondering, okay, so how do I get these planetary frequencies? On my channel, I have Primal Trust, which is also known as Schumann's frequency, recording, 10-minute recording. I would suggest that you go to my channel, subscribe, and to use that frequency often as a means of helping to disrupt fear that you've got stored in your body. I'm constantly adding new content, new guided meditations, new recordings all the time. The other thing that you can do, which I would suggest as well, is to go to my website, www.aurras.com. This is an online sound healing website, and there, as a member, you've got full access to all kinds of things, including full 30-minute recordings to disrupt fear and restore trust, along with ongoing meditations and sound baths online from the comfort of your home. So think about it for a second. Do you want to operate from a place of fear and lacking trust in humanity, lacking trust in your environment, your situation, or would you rather operate from a place of trust, which is really how you're made to operate from? And so with that, I love you. Take care.